Tikpiali mamachtiani, tlaskamati namansinti mamachtise, tlamachtili kashtoli wan ome. Hey all students, today we're going to learn the lesson, episode 17. What we're going to focus on today is a new suffix that we will call the directional. I also call it tito kiko, and you'll see why. So we have a word like asi, and asi means to arrive. It's intransitive, so it doesn't take any objects. So you could say ni asi, I arrive. Ti asi, you arrive. Asi, he or she arrives. If you treat it like a transitive though, it means to reach something, to find something. So for something to meet something, to reach. That's asi, so that would be nik asi, nikasi. I reach it. Nikasi. Tikasi, you reach it, and kiasi or kasi, which means he or she reaches it. Like here it says, nikasik se masatl, I found the deer. But the word asi, to arrive, needs a special suffix. Arrive where, basically. It tells us where do you arrive, and when. So these four suffixes, basically I'll tell you where did you do an action and in what time, in the future or in the past. And they are ti, to, ki, and ko. So we'll see them right here. Ti, to, ki, ko. These are the directionals. Ti means you do something over there and in the future. To means you do something over there but in the past. Ki means you do something over here, towards here, but you'll do it in the future. And ko means you came here in the past to do something. So basically, ti and to is basically like to go in the future, and went. Ki kind of means came here. Will come here. And ko kind of means came here in a sense. And these are directionals that have a purpose. So let's see how we'll use it. Let's go back to the example of asi and see an actual example. Ni asiti. So it's got asi plus that ending ti, which means I will arrive over there. Ni asito means I did it already. I arrived over there. Ni asiki. That means I will arrive here in the future. Ni asiko means I arrived here already. I came here. I arrived here. So it's an example with all those endings. Ti, to, ki, and ko. Same word, asi. So it's one more thing to look out for. If you see a ti, to, ki, or ko at the ending, it could be this suffix. Or it might not be. You have to figure out where is the root of the verb. But this is it's one extra thing to think about. There's a little pattern here. The ones that have a T sound, like in ti and to, both imply going over there. The ones that have the K sound, like ki and ko, both imply coming right here. Another pattern you'll see is that ti and ki both end with an e, and they imply the future. So the ones that end in an e imply it will happen in the future. And the o endings mean that it happened in the past. That tell you it happened in the past. So e, future, o, past. The t sound over there, and the k sound towards over here. So it's a little formula that you can use to help you remember which direction are we talking about. So these are suffixes. So number one, remember they go at the end. Number two, you cannot use this in combination with a tense, like the ya tense or the past tense or the future tense. You cannot combine it. So no past tense ki, no future tense s, no past progressive ya. So no more tenses. If you use this, you cannot use a tense. It's one or the other. They kind of already have a tense embedded in them. It's like a directional and a tense at the same time. That's why they have a future and a past. So maybe that's why they can't combine with another tense. If you see this ki, you'll have to work to not confuse this ki, by the way, with the regular past tense ki. But there's some clues that you can use to figure out which one we're talking about. Just something to remember. Now you may be thinking, didn't we already learn about on and wal? They both mean directionals. On means you do something towards over there, While means you do something coming towards here. So this is different though. The main difference is that these mean to go somewhere in order to. In order to, that's a big thing here. In order to do something. So when you have a ti, it means you do something over there. You're going to do something over there in order to, you're going over there in order to do blank. To, you went over there in order to do blank. Ki, I came here to blank. Ko, ko would be the, I came here to do something. And ki means I will come here. Basically, I'll come back here in the future in order to do blank. So these are directional with a purpose. So they're directionals, they've got a purpose, and they've got a tense. Those are the three things that they have. Let's see some more examples besides asi. Nikochiti. I'm gonna go over there in order to sleep. If I say just a regular future nikochis, that just talks about the time. In the future, I will sleep. If I say nionkochi, that implies I'm going to sleep and I'm heading over there. But if I use the ti, it means I'm going over there in the future in order to sleep. A simple way to say it in English, I'm going to go there to sleep. Nikochito, I went there to sleep. Nikochiki, I'll come here to sleep. Nikochiko, I came here to sleep. So these match up. The red, kochi, matches up with the red and sleep. The ti, orange, yellow, matches up with the yellow. That means will go there too. And the ni is the subject who's doing the action. So it matches up with the whites. So the maybe one way to help break it down. A little bit more visual. So let's try this with the word to buy clothes, which is kowa, to buy. And yoyomit, which is clothes. So nihkowa yoyomit means I buy clothes. Nihkowa yoyomit. Now let's see how to say I went there to buy clothes. So which one are we gonna pick? Ti, to, or ki, or ko? Let's think about it. I went there, so it's not here, it's over there. So we have to use either ti or to. The next clue is went is in the past. So the when here is in the past is to. I went there in order to do something. Nihkowato yoyomit. I went there to go buy clothes. Okay, let's see another example. I will go there in order to work. Well, to say to work is tekiti. I work is ni tekiti. So now we just have to add I will go there too. Well, over there is either going to be ti or to. And it's in the future, so we're going to say ti. So ni tekiti plus ti. Ni tekititi. Ni tekititi. Right? There's two ti's because one of the ti belongs to the word tekiti. And now we add an extra ti. Ni tekititi. He came here to study. To study is momachtia. To say he studies, it's momachtia. So now I have to say he came here too. Well, here in this direction is either going to be ki or ko. And we're talking about the past. So we're going to say ko. It's going to sound like this. Momachtiko. Momachtiko. One little thing here. The only thing you have to remember is that if it ends in ia or oa, you're going to drop the a. So momachtiko. He came here to study. She will come to eat. The word to eat is tlaqua. So she will come to eat is, think about it. Future towards here would be ki. Tlacuaki. Now you might confuse this with what if I say she ate? That would be tlacuahki. Tlacuahki. So they conjugate differently. They're going to have different conjugations. That's why you'll be able to tell most of the time which one are we talking about. Okay, some bonus words. Milah is the milpa, the cornfield, the agricultural field, which is mili, and mila means you're at that place, which comes from the word mil plus ta plus tla. Pishka is to harvest. Very important to know pishka. In Spanish it's pronounced Spanish they say pisca, and Spanish took this from Nahuatl. So you can either treat this as transitive or intransitive. If you treat it as intransitive, you're just saying I'm harvesting. You're not specifying what. And if I say nikpishka blank, you're treating it as transitive, and you're specifying what it is that you're buying. That you're harvesting. Toca. Same thing. If I say nitoka, and this word means, by the way, to plant something. To plant. If you pronounce it differently, toka depends on if you say it long O or short O. It can mean to follow something, to chase something. In this context, toka means to plant something. So, or to bury something. So I'm planting or burying this. So nitoka just means I'm planting. Niktoka means I'm planting something specifically. Niktoka sintli, I'm planting corn. Pamitl is a row. Your rows that you have. In older Nahuatl, it also meant rows, and it also meant walls. So pamitl. Different rows. Tlaye, to cultivate. So when you're cultivating the land, working the land to make sure it's ready to get ready, preparing the land so that the nutrients are mixed around, that's tlaye. It sounds like the word for uncle, by the way, which is also pronounced tlaye, but that one would be no tlaye, which means my uncle. Not ni tlaye, which means, or if you say ni tlaye, you're saying I am his uncle. But if you say ni tlaye, you're in the context, they'll understand you're saying I'm cultivating, I'm working the land. Tlamewa. Tlamewa is another word that is used to kind of mean cultivating, but basically you're clearing the land. You're working the land to clear it from herbs, from weeds that you don't need. Nitlamewa. Nitlachinoa. I'm burning the field. Tlachinoa. This means to burn it to a crisp. It's a big fire. So that's tlachinoa. You'll see this in older Nahuatl too. Xihuitl. Xihuitl means a year. And it also can refer, and it also means a plant, an herb. So your kind of herbal plants are called xihuitl. Right? If you see a tree, that would probably not be called a xihuitl. That'd be under the quahuitl family. But all your small herbs will be under the xihuitl family. Teki. Not tekiti, by the way, but teki. Class 2, and it's transitive, nik. You say what you're cutting, and teki means to cut something. To cut something. Nihteki blank. What am I cutting? And to cut also means to harvest. But literally the part of harvesting where you're plucking it off of the plant. It's said that you're cutting it in a sense. So if I'm cutting beans or harvesting beans, I could say ni eteki. There's a word for etl, eteki. I'm harvesting chile, ni chilteki. I'm harvesting corn, ni sinteki. I'm harvesting oranges, ni alashoshteki. So and now they're not transitive anymore because the object went directly into that transitive verb, and we don't need to treat it as a transitive thing anymore. It kind of becomes intransitive. So now we don't say nik eteki, we say ni eteki. And if you want to use a teki, you would space it out as two different words, like nikteki etl. Now I do use the K. But if I fuse the etl inside of the verb, I'll say ni eteki. And now it's not transitive. Okay, so that's it for today. We learned a little bit about agricultural words and the important parts of ti, to, ki, and ko. So they take a little bit of practice to get used to, but it's not too hard. And this graph right here, I think, will really help. So Tlaskamati no chime. Again, feel free to write any comments, any questions that you might have about these videos, and I check out all the comments. So Tlaskamati.